The Bilbo Baggins begins. Tonight, we honor the star of 2.5 hobbits, and they're all the same hobbit. And when I told Bilbo that we were going to be roasting someone tonight that he knew rather well, he told me not to forget the barbecue sauce. I didn't expect Bilbo to jump at the adventure. In fact, I'm not sure he can jump at all. Perhaps I should have told him to just roll with it. Yes, that's right. You are a little these days, Bilbo. It's a good thing that hobbits have round doors. That's going to be very form-fitting before long. Now, I want you to know that before I took Bilbo on an adventure, I did make an obituary for him, just in case. And it read, Bilbo Baggins, a brave hobbit that charged the ranks of the enemy in the Misty Mountains and was found dead and, well, okay, really, I just copied the obituary from Bull Roar Took, and we only had to change 3 things. The name, the location, and the line that said, he is a hobbit that will be deeply missed. I would also like to add that Bilbo has overtaken Bull Roar Took as the title of the largest hobbit ever. Belladonna told me that Bilbo was no stranger to turning invisible. She said he used to disappear all the time when there was work to be done. And then reappear again at dinner. Or, when it was time to go to school, he would reenact The Hobbit, an unexpected illness. Now, I believe Bilbo is still single because he's so ugly. He asked his father one time to take him to the zoo, and he said, son, if they want you, they'll come and get even for a hobbit. Why, he's so short, when it rains, he's the last one to know. And the last thing I'd like to say is I know Bilbo comes off as a young hobbit. We all know why. Really, in truth, Bilbo's a bit long in the tooth. Why, if I told Bilbo to act his age, he'd have to die. Now, I really shouldn't talk. I don't know Bilbo as well as some others here. So let's have someone that maybe spend a bit more time with Mr. Bingo Baggins. Bilbo Baggins. And please welcome to the podium, Frodo Baggins.
They say hobbits like to dig around in the garden. The only time I ever saw Bilbo digging around with a shovel was at the dinner table. I saw Uncle Bilbo once run out of the house and scream. He was going out on an adventure, but I found out later it was an all-you-can-eat buffet. Uncle Bilbo was not always rich. To make ends meet, he once took on a job as a stripper. But he was only tipped to keep his clothes on. Bilbo got up each day at the crack of 2. He was always good about making breakfast. He would cook enough for several, even when he was the only one there. Uncle Bilbo had a hard time getting dates. A hobbit lass sent him a message telling him to come over to her place. There was nobody home. When he went over, there was nobody home. Bilbo's so ugly. His psychiatrist told him to lay on the couch face down. Bilbo's so ugly. He looked out the door one day and got arrested for mooning. Bilbo didn't get along very well with his father. When Bilbo asked for a bubble bath, his father brought the water to a boil. Bilbo's father used to play a game with him called Hide and Go Stay.
Fine thing to say about your grandfather.
When Bilbo's rich aunt died, in her will, Bilbo owed her $20. But I would like to add, in all seriousness, that I love my uncle. But I love his money too.
Thank you for those tender moments, Frodo. a little bit of life in Bag End that we never knew about.
Neither did I.
Well, every good story deserves a little embellishing, doesn't it? Oh.
I don't know about that.
Now, we all know that PJ is making movies of the Hobbit right now. So, let's talk with some of the people that Bilbo went on adventures with. I could call him out to the podium. Balin, son of Thunden, Lord of Moria.
Thank you, Gandalf. Glad I could be here. Now, a moment. Sharks in the house.
All right. Now, I'm deeply honored to be a part of this little shindig here tonight. Before I can begin, there's a bit of unfinished business that I'm here to represent the dwarves of Erebor on their behalf. The first matter of business is that, in fact, I have in my hand here one deed of contract signed by a Mr. Bilbo Baggins, which in fact he signed before taking part in the adventure you all are so familiar with. Well, you know, when everything's cleared up at Erebor, after the dragon and everything, it was such a mess. It's taken us quite a while to sort things out, and our legal department has just only finally recently gotten around to this matter. It's a wee little problem. I should have seen it myself, but
Isn't there a statute of limitations?
you know. Oh no. Not in the world.
That hasn't been invented yet.
Several hundred years, you know. In any case, the problem with the contract, it's null and void, you see, because Mr. Baggins here failed to sign his full and proper name. And as our legal department has it, the name should have been Bilbo Phileas Nicholas Daniel Frankie Zombieman Baggins. Because this contract is null and void, well, you know, we dwarves being the forgiving sorts that we are just going to call it square at, I have a short list of a few items that my fellow dwarves have asked me to make mention of, and I think if we can sort this out between the two of us here. Come on over here. Come on. Right. What's the goal? Don't help you anyhow. All right, now, let's see. Oh, yes, my brother Dwalin recollects one spare green cloak that he owed to you, and he would, in lieu of reparation, he would like to exchange the amount for a new bow for his fiddle. So, if you please, Mr. Baggins. Oh, come on, laddie, I know you got it on you. I heard that. Y'all hear that, did you? There we go. That's not bad. Now. All right, we'll call that better. All right, Bolfer is requesting reimbursement for alterations and repairs for a torn tunic, mustard-colored, that he had to get repaired. So, for Bolfer, laddie. It's for Bolfer. Yeah, good. All right. Young Ori lad is requesting reimbursement for one journal with a red leather cover, an ink pot and quill, if you please, Master Baggins. No, what'd you do with it? You had it just a minute ago. Come on, check the other pocket again. I know it's yours. Come on. We're wasting everybody's time here. Let's move this along. Upside down and shake it out. Come on now. All right, and while you're doing that, Dory wants reimbursement for 2 pounds of chamomile milk tea from his private stock that Baggins drank on the journey. Come on. 2 pounds. 2 pounds. He says 2 pounds. There you go. All right. Let's see. Oin requesting 1 dozen packets of headache powders that were mixed for Mr. B. You know, he's a certified physician, you know. Oh, he's going to be double that bad. It's hard to find good help, you know, good medical help. All right. That's good. All right. And his brother Gloin, 1 gold locket with private contents, which Bilbo failed to steal back from the elves. This one's going to cost you. You know Gloin. Come on. Come on. I told you, it's gold. Come on. There we go. Now we're talking. Yeah, that'll about cover it. But wait, now there's one last thing. Before you put that away. Yeah, that there would be mine. My initials. Yeah.
Bilbo Baggins.
BB. No, son. I'm sorry. That's Bill Baggins' bag. I think we can call it square. Shall we say on it? About this roasting thing. So I'm kind of new to this, so you'll have to forgive me. Let's see. On our adventures, I only became unnerved when the trolls were roasting us and Bilbo, who was supposed to rescue us, was last seen with a sword and a cloak, and he showed up instead with a knife and a fork. Had me worried there for a moment. Now, I don't want to say that Bilbo's fat. I mean, it's been said, but even for a hobbit, but he was the only one of us the elves mistook for a barrel. And, you know, everyone took their turn on the journey and helped out, but Bilbo's cooking was so terrible, we prayed after we ate. I mean, when he gave Bumber alphabet soup, he spelled out H-E-L-P. And he cooked something in the pressure cooker, and we had to eat it off of the seal in the back. Oh, he gave Ori some chocolate mousse, and an antler got stuck in his throat. I gave Gloin a piece of toast that had bones. Oh, he said the roaches in Baggins' kitchen are anorexic. It was so bad.
How bad?
It was so bad that when we threw the leftovers out to a dog, it threw them back at us. And then when we opened the doors, the flies flew out. All right, that's all I got for you.
Oh, thank you, Balin, and thank you for finally squaring that up with the legal stuff, Mr. Baggins. And why did you go on that adventure anyway?
Yeah, why?
Huh? Well, you talked to me, you know that very well. I now introduce to the podium Thorn Oakenshield.
Thorin Tony Oakenshield. You're my burglar? Huh. I lead a company of brave, loyal, and trustworthy individuals on the quest to Erebor. Oh, and Bilbo was with us too. I will say this about Bilbo: he never forgets a friend. But of course, I think he only has two. Bilbo needs to find a
and his fame. Not for his wit, or what he is, or what he is. Bilbo's so fat.
How fat is he?
I tell you how fat he is. You really want to know?
Yes.
No!
When he got on the scale in Erebor to see if it still works, a card came out that said, only one at a time. Don't deny it. It did happen. We saw his picture on a sign at the funeral home as we left Hobbiton, and the caption read, I can read it, coming soon. Bilbo's so old.
How old is he?
You want to know?
Yes.
When he played the slot machine in Rivendell, 3 prunes came up. Not 2, not 1, 3. Not numbers, prunes. Okay. Bilbo's so ugly.
How ugly is he?
And you do want to know.
Yes.
He asked the bartender at the Green Dragon to make him a zombie. He said God already beat him to it. Bilbo's so ugly.
How ugly is he?
And you do want to know. We were sitting on the fishing docks of Lake Town, and they asked me what I use for bait. He said his family never had a jack-o'-lantern. They just made him stand in the window. On Halloween, when he opens the door, kids give him candy. This is my birthday.
Now, well, Bilbo Baggins, Bilbo, well, had his stay in Rivendell, he got to know the Dunedain rather well, but we know him better as Aragorn, son of Arathorn. All right.
Bilbo Baggins. There hasn't been a person that bloated since they dredged Gazildo from the Anduin. Me and Bilbo used to chat in the Great Hall in Rivendell, where we would spend a great deal of time, but not nearly as much time as the dining hall. And when Bilbo and I would banquet in Lord Elrond's halls, he would say, there was enough food for all 3 of us. Him, me, and him again. Bilbo wanted to lose weight, so I said, hey, try running every day. About 5 miles, that should do. You can start with 2 weeks and get back to me. Well, he wrote me a letter after 2 weeks. Said he was 70 miles away. I think Bilbo drinks too much. He was asked for a urine sample, and when he gave it, there was an olive in it. Back in Rivendell too, he wasn't the most active person, so he used to take a break from taking a break. Bilbo's memory's not serving him
he was asked, who found the One Ring in Gollum's cave, and of course he answered B, Bilbo Baggins, when in fact it was Gandalf once sent me on a quest to find this hobbit-like creature that was greedy and nasty and horrible, and it held this utter miserable continent. And I always thought he knew where Bilbo lived. That must not be anybody.
Well, anyway, Bilbo, I just... Where the devil we go? Well, I guess that's the end of that roast. Well, you can all go back to seats, and thank you for coming. Probably the Well, let's carry on a tradition that we have here at ALEP. We usually have Professor